What's good, guys? Welcome to another episode of the MF podcast. My guest today is Adam Prosser.
Hello.
He is a multi-talented media producer from the Newport area, specializing in weddings, DJing, and community events. Adam,
Hello.
how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. This is the first podcast being produced out of my basement, so I'm hopefully the production quality is there. Hopefully, it's a nice
It
environment
is.
to kind of.
It's a nice little studio, man. I like it. Honestly, I love it.
Cheers, brilliant. I've done my research on you. I not that much research needs to be done. I'd say it's safe to say that you're quite a very popular guy, quite a very liked guy, very very in touch with a lot of social elements. So there's more than enough information on you out there.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's only fair that we kind of give the viewers, give the listeners a very developed understanding of who you are, where you fit into the local scene, and what your strengths lie in. So the things that I've been able to research, you are the owner of Adam Prosser Media.
Yep.
You got 907 followers on Facebook, 1,777 followers on Instagram. You're a DJ under the name of DJ Prospekt.
That's right. Yeah.
And you've got history with Newport City Radio and Radio Cardiff.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
What have I missed? What is your story from the beginning of your career to now?
Wow. So basically, like I said, it all started with my radio days because I had zero confidence getting into this sort of game. When I first got into all that, like I was just a video guy. I barely operated a camera.
What year is this? When did it start for you?
Oh, okay. So this has got like 2010 or 2011.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, it was a small team, and again, it all small steps. It was very crazy how it all came about. And as I was part of the show I was on, they had no presenters, and next thing you know, I was presenting my own show, and it got rebranded, and this, that, and the other, and I had my own co-host. And
was this Newport City Radio?
This is Newport City Radio, yeah. And
Okay.
And my manager at the time, which I still credit to him now, where I didn't have zero confidence basically, and now you can't stop me talking.
Are we talking about Ian Lambsdale?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yes, Lamsey.
I love Lamsey.
Yes.
Oh, Lamsey's my guy. Like, I will get Ian Lambsdale on here at some point.
Yes.
He has agreed to an episode, so I'm glad you've mentioned him.
Yeah, and so yeah, it all started from there. And basically, I just always wanted to get in this sort of business, whether it's working with like clients, working with like doing the photos.
So you've always had an interest in media?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And with that, I got to work with a lot of like music artists, like bands, and this, that, and the other.
Okay.
And and then the next thing you know, I was doing like events, and like I got asked to MC events, just to not actual MC. No one wants to hear me rapping.
Not spit bars, but just host the event and manage it. And okay.
And then I was involved with community events then, so that and a lot of like charity work, because obviously Newport City Radio do a lot of charity stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, Newport is a very it's a very like social place anyway.
Yeah,
like, there's
absolutely.
a lot of social support for projects and things like that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just it was a win rush of just things happened. So that's how it kind of started, really. Yeah.
Okay, so 2010, 2011, Newport City Radio, starting as a host, getting your own show, then branching into the community events, and then obviously developing the media interest and being able to take part in those things.
Yeah.
When did you decide to kind of establish your own identity, your Adam Prosser Media? When did that come about?
So I was working in retail at the time, and it's how it always starts.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I saw so many people, my friends as well, and colleagues and stuff. I dabbled at that time. I was working a full-time job, but I wanted to dabble a little bit. Work, doing like little stuff. You didn't
want to stay in that job?
Believe it or not, no.
Okay.
No, right. I worked there for a good while, and I think my work friends, they saw that I was unhappy, and it really kind of like pushed me to, right, if I'm gonna do it, so that's what I did. I literally quit my job, and I'm like, I'm gonna pull my cards out there and just produce the best content I could.
Media content. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So so is that to say that you didn't want to limit yourself, or you were confident with your abilities in different areas?
Well, yeah, I'd say I was quite confident in my abilities, and I think I was quite fortunate with my learning process, and I'm self taught, and basically I got really lucky with working on the job and being in positions where I had no clue what I was doing.
Mm.
But luckily, like if you're sort of in that industry and you're doing a lot of jobs for free, which I was at the time, I was just learning and picking up stuff. And unfortunately, that's how it goes with this sort of industry.
Well, yeah, that was what I was going to say. It is a very freelance and
Mm,
independent, saturated industry. That
yeah,
obviously we were discussing things earlier about how you've used Indeed and you've looked for media jobs in the area, and we
yeah.
we both agreed there were no postings for Newport,
Nope.
and most of these media postings come from places like Bristol and Cardiff. So have you ever been prevented from a work opportunity because you didn't have the black and white pieces of paper saying, I've got a degree in so and so, I've got X qualifications in this, that, and the other? Have you ever lost work from not having the qualifications?
I don't know. That's a tricky one. I think I've been quite fortunate enough to get away with a lot of stuff. I guess it's different if you were to work in like let's say the BBC, for example,
Okay.
for bigger companies like that.
Okay.
But I guess it's a bit different when you're freelance and you're self-employed. You kind of being your own boss, and the clients don't really know what they want half the time. So if I'm doing like a wedding, or I get some people, well, as you know, working with like photo shoots and stuff like that. You
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get some people, they don't know what the level of like professionalism is. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
obviously you
yeah.
always gotta give them the best you can. But like luckily they the standards not set the high. What's the phrase, the bar, it's not set so high. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I've been watching a podcast recently called The Cheat Codes, and
Mm,
there's a woman on there called Wendy Day. She's been in the music industry for ages. She's worked with like the likes of Eminem and some of the biggest artists in the world. And
yeah,
if anyone knows the business, it's her. And she said something, and I've written it down, and it stuck with me. She said that the entry barrier into industries like entertainment and music is so low,
yeah,
that anyone could get into it. And some of the problems that comes with that come with that is there's no kind of like threshold to kind of measure who's reliable and who's not, kind of
yeah.
thing,
And I think it also boils down to, like, with experience with like any job, if they see, oh, you haven't really worked on a production before, that's
Yeah.
it. They'll just throw you off the list, and unfortunately that's how it goes. And once you make that first step into anything, you've got that, like you said, something written down, whether it's obviously like a degree or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, absolutely,
But
yeah,
I
a
find that
qualification,
with like
yeah,
work
yeah.
experience, like if I, a lot of jobs, like you said, I have lost so much stuff, but just because I've not done this particular thing,
Mm.
or because they just don't give you the opportunity, which sucks really.
Yeah, yeah. Is that to say then that reputation is important within the is it the media industry? Is it as a freelancer? Does good reputation substitute not having qualifications?
I think so. Admit, because I've been very lucky with my reputation in Newport, and
Yeah, very well, that
like,
guy.
so generally, I'm thankful. Thank you, if you are listening out there. But like, like, I don't know. It's my name, because I'm not the best even promoting myself, because I got low self esteem with certain things.
Okay.
So I've been so like lucky, just word of mouth, and whereas like anything, any sort of bookings I get, just honestly, I've been so like, all right, Adam's good, tag him in it or email him, and I've been quite gracious in that sense. So obviously it does work,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. And so that is what leads you to more work, the word of mouth, the
Yeah, that's how I kind of got about, and I had not really a really leg to stand on, but luckily I just had to throw myself at something, and I was just, yeah, word of mouth, friends and family.
Do you have your own personal standards for the work that you create?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah?
yeah. Like, I'm unfortunately sometimes it's a fault of mine being a perfectionist, like, because well, you
Yeah.
probably get this as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you
Yeah.
you overthink things, whether you're working on a project or if you're editing a video, like you're constantly like nitpicking at your
Yes.
own stuff. I probably nitpick this now, but also you watch it, I'll probably watch this back. I'm like, oh, I could have done this, I could have said
No, you
that.
you will, you will. You'll the
Like,
interview will end, and you'll go home, and you'll be like,
and
whether
I'll
you,
cry.
yeah, whether you be just be lost in like like in your own like hallucination. Like,
Yeah,
I should have said this, I should have talked about this, I should have done these things, and
yeah.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, and I think that's something that I've learned from media production,
Mm.
in that we can create the best content that we can create, but the kind of the places where this content is going, it doesn't matter, bro.
Mm.
Because even though this is going to be on YouTube, even though it's going to be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, the whole point of it is this is just content to be consumed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Once it's consumed, it's gone. And so that like is that for me takes away the perfectionism. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about it so much.
yeah.
So, you
And I
know,
think to go off topic a little bit, like with like you said, the consuming content as well.
mm,
It is always harder. So I obviously tell people if they get into it, like when you're creating stuff, make sure the first 5 seconds as interesting as possible. Because obviously now we live on
yeah,
on your
yeah.
phones, you're scrolling. You gotta make those first 5 seconds interesting
The
as
hook.
the
Yeah,
hook.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's like a dog eat dog world when it comes to that sort of stuff. Anyways.
What I'm experiencing with my Instagram content is because I suck at hooks. I don't take the time to think,
Mm.
how can I make this as interesting as possible? I just make the
And
stuff.
that's unfortunately we live in a TikTok generation now.
you
So
know?
is and I can I just say I'm bad for it too. I'm not blaming anyone for it. I'm just the same, and my partner as well at home. She'll be flicking through all sorts, and it's just yeah,
Yeah,
it is
no,
what it is.
I think it's a part of our world, and I think that people need to, like, they need to adopt it. They need to learn it so that they can manage it well.
Yeah,
Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, so I mean,
was
that's
that too much?
no, that was really good, bro. That was a description of a really extensive career. And not only that, but you've demonstrated that despite, lacking opportunities for official qualification or official employment and things like that, you've grinded and you've really, really worked hard, learning everything that you can, putting yourself out there and continuing, like, giving yourself a standard to meet.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you've demonstrated that, and I mean, anyone who knows you knows that. Okay, that's Adam. That's Adam. He get not only does he get the job done, but he gets the job done.
yeah.
So
Sometimes I like selfishly I'll go above and beyond, and if it means like working on something a bit longer, or because and the client doesn't even know that sometimes, where
no,
especially with like the
no,
editing
they don't
process of
see it.
things, like
Yeah.
you put more hours into something, and they'll just be like, oh, okay, thank you. And then that's when I've like for myself, and like I know, like I'm not asking for any like thank yous or anything. I'm just saying, like, for me, it's like that puts my mindset at ease if something's done
Because
well. Yeah,
they're covered, even if they don't know it.
yeah,
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
all right, fantastic. Hot topic: artificial intelligence. You've mentioned that you've already started learning it
Scary.
and using it. Obviously we discussed this just before turning the camera on, but I've got a sequence of questions. So, number one, are you using artificial intelligence?
Not particularly, no, and not because no particular reason. I've just never needed to at the
You
moment.
don't
But
need
I
it. You don't need it yet.
so like I know there'll be a time where there'll be certain situations like I do enjoy. Have you not you've seen this probably before, like the photo like autofill on
Uh,
photos and stuff like that.
what things like Mid Journey and stuff like that, where
Yeah, like so
you
let's I've seen like a Adele one, right? It's like the iconic album photo of just like her and it's black, and then what they've done on Photoshop, they just filled in the rest of the image, and it's just like a horror film, and she's like underneath the bed is a creature, like it's the whole thing.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like cool. Like I'd like to see certain stuff like that, but it is the way it's going now. Is scary
Yeah.
because people talk about like AI writing comedies, and they've talked about like writing like drama now.
Well,
Like how far will it go? You know.
this was my next question. Do you think that AI is going to take
Segue.
business away from you? Do you think that AI is going to take business away from you, or is it going to help you with your production?
I don't know. That's a hard one.
It is, because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So I need you as I'm going to use the word professional. I need you as a professional in Newport's media industry to weigh in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, especially, yeah, because it's just taking a lot of jobs from a lot of things, and unfortunately, I don't know, there's certain things I know it won't be able to take over, like, like writing and stuff, because it's not quite there yet for certain sequences. Maybe like filming something. I don't know. You'll still need a cameraman, and you still need
you still need an editor, a
yeah,
photographer.
you still need someone to turn off the camera and on again. It's simple stuff like that, like and to be and direct something and to produce something. This AI certain stuff you just can't do.
Yeah.
And we are fortunate with technology with the tech that we have now to produce this.
Yes.
So obviously there's a lot of like highs and lows of it, but yeah, I don't know.
I've got no worries of becoming redundant. There's things where a person, so a client, they could go to someone who knows how to type prompts. They could do that, and they could
That's the only sort of thing I'm thinking of right now where like it'll help.
Yeah, a client, like for example, some of the models that I shoot for their kind of content, they could go to someone with a computer who knows how to give prompts, and they could say, "Oh, I want a photo shoot that looks like X, Y, and Z."
Yeah.
And it comes down to the engineer and how good their prompts are. But what we're seeing at the moment is some prompts, some instructions to AI aren't being received.
Yeah.
And so it could come to a point where you pay so much money and put so much time in, and you're not going to get the content. Whereas if you would come to myself or someone such as yourself, given them the money and the instructions, and said, I want a photo of this, I want a video of this, we'll get it done.
Yeah.
We'll get it done. So I'm not worried about redundancy at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited for it. I think that if it can improve my production flow, like if I can, there's AI editors available already.
Yeah.
Autopod. Have you
No,
experimented? Okay, so Autopod, I tried the first version of it and it didn't work. I'll be honest, it didn't work. Like it would slice through all of the footage,
Right.
but the edits weren't the edits that I would have made.
Yeah.
So even though it's taking me longer,
It's crazy to think that's even a thing. That's mind blowing like that.
it takes seconds. You give it a chunk of content,
Yeah.
and it will identify, number one, who the microphones are for,
Yeah.
and then it will identify who in the image is for each microphone, and then it'll slice it up and try to make a clean edit. But
Yeah.
the first version of it didn't work, and I didn't
Yeah.
like it. But apparently there's been updates to it, so if it saves me time, I might try it out.
Yeah. Like if anything that saves you time, and again, if the clients don't really know about these sort of workarounds, like I said, use it to your advantage. If you're in my position and you're a content creator, like you gotta use these certain things.
Oh yeah.
As much you obviously, again, like you said, it's still early days, and editing is very hands on. It's making sure everything's right. Like but who knows?
What about?
I will say, they got the one thing as well. Phones and like the cameras. That is like, I do worry about that, because a lot of phones now they're pretty good with like with like filming stuff, and like I said, especially when obviously when I'm shooting photos like weddings and stuff like that, and I'll see photos already, because a lot of couples, they just want the photos there and then. And I'll see some of the photos, I'm like, that's not bad,
Yeah.
So then it puts my work a bit extra, so I make sure it's a little nicer and put some more edits in. I put some lens flare in the background, just to make it stand out. But yeah, that does scare me a lot.
The way I explain it to people is my smartphone is smart, but the lenses on the back are not very smart.
Mm.
Whereas my camera is dumb. The lenses are really, really smart,
Yeah.
and I'm really, really smart.
Yeah.
So as long as I can use my camera with my lenses to create my content,
Yeah.
no one with a phone will match me. And so
Yeah.
I'm currently confident with that.
I do like the removing and stuff. I think Google Pixels do it now. This is not ad, by the way, but like this is like where they remove people in the background or fill
okay.
stuff. That stuff like that is crazy.
All right, but yeah, again, we're just going to have to see where
Yeah.
it goes from there. I know Adobe have tried introducing a lot of a generative stuff into their software.
Yeah.
For Photoshop, for example, not only can you use content aware fill if you want to fill in a gap,
Yeah.
but at the same time you can use generative fill. Give it a prompt and it will generate the
Yeah.
instruction that you've given it. So, you know, I know Adobe are really, really trying to be on it. They're also using it for Premiere Pro for their captions.
Mm.
So
That's right.
CapCut offers a captions generation feature. So does Adobe.
Mm.
And personally, it's a little bit more long-winded to use, but I prefer Adobe's.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, just give it the audio file. It detects the words, and what
Bish,
I've
bash,
noticed
bosh.
is that the more content I feed it with my accent and my words,
Yeah.
the more it recognizes the things that I'm saying in the future.
Okay.
ChatGPT, are you using it at all?
I've used it now and then. Yeah.
Okay.
I've admittedly used it for like a birthday message or something like that, or something,
Okay.
or in a card.
Okay.
And I just like, oh, what can I write something a bit fancy?
Have you asked it about yourself?
No. No. No.
I have. I've asked ChatGPT about you.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to know what came up?
I'm scared. Yeah, go on.
No, well, okay, all right, yeah, no, you a little bit. One out of 3 reasons you should be scared. Okay, so
Okay.
I asked ChatGPT about myself a few nights ago, just because there's been updates. It's got more access to more
Yeah.
information, and it was very accurate.
Oh, God.
Okay,
Okay.
I said, tell me about Sonny Nathan O'Brien from Newport in Wales. And it said that I work in media. It said that I work in podcasting, that I produce YouTube content, and that I produce content based around leadership. And so I knew it was a thing. I knew it was.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Changes the game.
This is day by day changes, bro. And
Yeah.
so obviously I asked it about you. I said, tell me about Adam Prosser from Newport in Wales. It told me about the media production.
Okay.
It said that you work on weddings, that you produce video content and photography content. It told me about the DJing, and it told me about how you uploaded some videos to Daily Motion, some
Dailymotion.
rooftop raves or
That's
something.
right. Yeah. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it told me about that, and then right, then it told me that you were attacked on holiday in 2014, and it was a very distressing experience.
What?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Okay. So I clicked the link. It wasn't you. Okay. So it was
That's so funny.
it was an other Adam Prosser from
Yeah.
Swansea who was a charity worker.
Ah.
And so then I asked ChatGPT. I
Or
said,
maybe I did get attacked on holiday.
Well,
What?
yeah, well, it was a news article. It didn't look like you. So I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, thank God it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But this is an example of how we're almost
Still
there,
very scary.
but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And so I had to correct it. I said that third thing you've told me isn't right, and it said, oh, oopsie daisy, you know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and I said, well, why didn't you? Why do you think you made the mistake? I asked it, why do you think it
Mhm.
made the mistake? And it said that mistakes like this can happen because of exposure. Okay,
Mm.
so obviously the things that you're doing, you're present online. Okay, I've mentioned this. You're a very, very popular guy. Okay, you've got a very strong social, very, very strong social network. And so my suggestion to that is keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep
Thank you. Thank you,
keep
brother.
working on stuff, and you know, maybe this is an opportunity to kind of like fine tune a few things and
Yeah.
see, you know, maybe I need more news articles about me, you know.
Yeah, and I think there's a few out there. I think one of my favorite accomplishments is I hosted the V Awards in the Neon. So that was like it's like stuff like that. I'll get popped in the articles, but there
What
is
what are the V Awards?
so the V Awards is like so it's like for restaurants in Newport. It's like
Is
so
it
basically
is
it was
it
a award show. It was.
is it to do with Voice magazine? Is that are
Yes,
they
that's
okay?
correct.
All
Yeah.
right, okay.
So it was a Do a Voice magazine, and yeah, so they voted like best bar and best like
Oh yeah,
best
okay,
charity
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like hosting that, and yeah, like I've done stuff like that, which I'm really proud of. I'm not sort of person to be on stage. It was like a TED talk essentially, but
Okay.
I was making quips and just the first 15 minutes, by the way, I bombed. It was crickets, and then in the rest of the show, it was fine. But yeah, you can imagine I was sweating buckets and this and it because you can imagine it was South Wales Argus. It was every person was in the front row.
See, I can't imagine it, man. Like I can admit,
Like, are you happy to be in front of the camera? But yeah, it's weird. I'm
yeah,
weird like that.
I could admit that I would be envious of that. I'd be like, can I do it?
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I get my time to shine? I put up a post just after the Christmas lights last month. I said Christmas lights 2024. I'm turning them on. So yeah, I've got a lot of work in front of me for the next year to kind of get to that point.
That's great. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. You know.
do you feel like there is enough media work in Newport?
Admittedly, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. I could be wrong by saying this, but personally, I've not. I've seen like I've seen bits here and there.
What do you
Like
mean? What do you mean by bits?
like
Opportunities or things
so
get?
so. Well, I've seen like little production crews, but like again, there's a lot of freelancers. But even then, like unfortunately, I don't know if they're not getting enough work, and I'm in the same boat around in Newport. It's very slim pickings, and like it goes back to the argument where it's like unfortunately, it's all in Bristol, it's all in Cardiff, but yeah, Newport is it sucks, and that's why you see anyone with a camera at any sort of event, I'll willingly go up and talk to him. I'm like, oh, how's it going? And what do you do? And
Network. You'll
network, yeah,
okay.
and
Okay.
not even the network in the sense of like I'm doing it for myself. It's more like I'm interested. I'm like, okay, this is actually because wherever I work, I can do, or I'd rather give them work and this, that, and the other, and build like like a friendship, and not even like a business sense in me. It's more of like, okay, there's other people doing this.
Mm.
How can I help them, and they
Yeah.
can possibly help me in the future? Who knows? Like,
Yeah. No. Definitely. Definitely. Okay. All right.
yeah, I guess it is
they
called network. I don't know,
yeah. So
but yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there is work, but they could be more.
Yeah, yeah, it could be more definitely like, and whether it's just I don't know whether it's more music videos could be filmed or maybe some just events in general that could be filmed. But who knows? Like I could be saying this now, and a lot of things could pop up after this. Who knows? So
Fingers
hopefully,
crossed. I mean, yeah. Fingers crossed. My
any,
last.
any sort of interest in Newport in general is always positive, and yeah, I'm just happy to see where it goes.
Well, that's sort of my next question. I've asked you, is there enough media work in Newport? Is there enough? My next question is there enough money in media in Newport? And I want to I want to bring in what you just said about if there's stuff happening in if there's interest in Newport, then
Hmm.
it's good. Are you able to incorporate those two answers together about there being interest in Newport and money for media in Newport?
So, yeah, there's some interest there, but it's whether people are willing to pay for said interest,
Who?
like
Clients?
clients,
Okay.
employers,
Okay.
pubs,
Okay.
like pretty much everything. It's real hard. So, and as you know, as you brought up earlier, I'm DJ as well.
Yeah.
Like even getting the odd bookings, it's the same. Unfortunately, it's the same sort of thing. Unless you're an upcoming and willing to get exposure and get paid, well, in drinks. Unfortunately, and it sets like a low bar then to anyone else who's been in this industry longer, and it really sucks. It's a lose lose.
Interesting. Wow. What you
So
said about being paid in drinks.
yeah, because it's exposure, as they say, exposure, and unfortunately that's what it's like in Newport because they don't draw enough interest for themselves. So if they try to risk event, it's not always their fault. Let's say if it's like a club put on an event and they don't do well, unfortunately that like backfires on everyone else. And will they do it again? Who knows? It's just that Fortunate thing.
You're in a very fortunate position to be able to see these various industries
Yeah.
very very clearly. Not only are you able to see things from a media front, but you're also able to see things from a DJ front. So someone who is responsible for generating the vibe in
Yeah.
the room, stimulating the activity in those events in the nightlife,
Yeah.
and not to mention your involvement with community events. The history that you have working on projects, facilitating projects, and getting people to come to these, be involved in these
Yeah.
projects.
And I love it. I love putting on events and
Oh yeah,
it's like
yeah, bringing people together, man,
yeah,
100%.
absolutely. And I've again, like you said, you nailed on the head. I've seen both sides of it. So I've been that person just either doing the social media side of it or just doing the actually putting on the event. So I can see both arguments where it's a struggle, I gotta just say, like, do you know what I really enjoy? I actually when I get asked to do photos for a DJ, I'm like, oh, I know how it goes. Like I know what he
You
wants.
know what he wants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I can do the flip side of it when I'm
Okay, yeah.
DJing. If a photographer's at me, I'm like, right, I'll make it look because I'll DJ all right, but I'll play it up to the camera. It's just funny to me where I can kind of work both sides of that coin.
Okay, so bit of a tough question.
Hit me.
Why do you think there's not enough media, not enough money in media in the city? And you can whether people agree with you or not, whether you agree with yourself, a
Yeah.
year down the line, I'm interested to see from your vantage point where
Yeah.
you think additional revenue could be generated.
Well, we mentioned it off camera, like unfortunately, there's not many students around in Newport, and
Yeah,
because of the
yeah,
because of the uni
student population, yeah.
student population. So it's obviously people willing to learn or want to partake in said events. It's very slim pickings, and also you got the cost of living crisis on hand. It's so many factors that it's not just one thing. Unfortunately, it's
So
so many little things.
so to say it another way, what you're seeing is a reduction in the number of people participating in these things.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it and it's just the unfortunately the way and it's just not many much traffic that come to Newport. I don't know, it's maybe I'm totally wrong by
No,
saying
that's
this.
that's a fair statement to make
Like,
because
because
you know
every time I go to like somewhere else apart from Newport, I always bring it up and it's unfortunately it's always brought in a negative light. And I don't really argue against it because I'm not that sort of person. But
you've seen stuff, man.
yeah, I've
You've
seen
seen it,
stuff and
yeah.
I've like, okay, I get it. I get and so it's unfortunately that's just it's a stigma that we have as a
Yeah.
as a city and it's tough. It's real tough. And like what I always tell people as well, like whenever they sort of be like, you gotta remember, it's everywhere. It's every city, unfortunately.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. Cost,
whether
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
whether it's
Costs are
homeless
everywhere. Yeah, yeah.
or like
Substances, crime.
yeah.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
it's just it's just a shame, especially on social media, and see the comments and stuff like that, and
Does that annoy
people.
you?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. People just bad mouthing something just because for the sake of it, and then obviously they just baiting people, and then there's a whole chain of comments afterwards, and it's just like
I know what kind of comments you're on about. I've seen comments like that. Like for example, if on Facebook, if the Argus posts,
I literally I will try not to say it, but
All right,
yeah, I
you
guess.
go. Okay, yeah, yeah. Go on, you say it. You say it. Go on. Go
No,
on.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Safe Feels August is. I'm just gonna say anyways. It's they're unfortunately they're awful. I don't know where all these people come from, but all they do is complain and moan.
Yeah,
And
just to clarify, we're not talking about the Argus.
yeah, not the actual people. It's the
not,
comments.
it's the Facebook users who happen to be from Newport's area, and happen to like just they just give the wrong input.
So if you are listening to this, just
yeah,
shut up.
yeah. Say nicer things.
Yeah, be nice.
Is there a stereotype to the kinds of people who make these comments?
Um.
Is it fair to say that they tend to be older people?
Yes. Yeah, I'd say that.
Oh.
And yeah, unfortunately, it's that there is because it's like back in my day, it's that whole
Yeah.
thing. Back in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your day's changed now.
We're not.
and,
Yeah, it's not.
And
yeah.
now you just bring
I
them down.
I don't even say that stuff. Like I see teenagers like getting projects done, And like the idea just doesn't even enter my head now
Yeah.
of saying, "Well, back in my day,
Yeah.
we used to do it." I don't
All
even...
you're doing is just bringing a negative light on something where you could actually be, doing something.
Contributing.
Yeah, contributing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's all right. I get it when you say it the first 5 times, and then it's just like, come on, come on now.
They keep saying it.
It's like, yeah, do you know what really grinds my gears?
They keep saying it again and again and again. That's funny.
But it's just a way. That literally goes with everything in it, whether it's to do a race or stereotyping. This, unfortunately, people just won't change, and it sucks.
Interesting. No, I try not to pay any attention to it at all. Like in my experience, whether it's from events, whether it's from music distribution, from artist management, from media production, from podcasting, from YouTube, I honestly, I'm at the point now where I don't waste a single moment trying to prove these people wrong, like trying to correct their opinions. I'm not interested. If they want to not contribute, fair enough, okay? But that doesn't mean that I don't have to contribute. I love my city. I love the people in my city.
Yeah.
And I love the benefits and the perks that media production and music and events bring to this city. And so I'm not going to waste any time, getting slowed down or held back. I'm going to produce as much as I can for my community. And so this is where the podcast comes from, because it's about celebrating and recognizing people such as yourself who they play their part, they contribute, they create stuff, they produce, and you need more recognition. So this
it's it's just, unfortunately, it's just the way it is. But again, if hopefully if you're watching this and you're listening to this, you'll understand the frustration from younger people. And let's not say we're young, to be fair, but like we've seen. Wow, I'm pushing 30 now. I'm going to 30, so.
Oh mate, I'm 32, right, and I still feel like spring chicken. I'm like, let's go, let's do stuff,
yeah. But like, for anyone listening, anyways, like whether you're young or old, there is get the message out there. Like, just be positive and just try and be productive. And again, if you don't like something, do something about it.
Yeah. Well, like, please just stop focusing on complaining. Like, if there's a problem, solve it.
Because it's like people follow anything. Like the sheep will, like people will follow anything.
Yeah, I mean, helping out is as simple as liking your friend's post. Like, just clicking like or leaving a positive comment saying this. This is
you
good.
Don't realize
this is great.
Some of your words.
Like this,
some of your words you say to someone could make their day. Like, and if that's happened to me, like I've had I'll be doing an event or something like that, or like I'll have one compliment and I'll think about that compliment for the rest of the week. Generally, because like
there's a running joke about how girls receive compliments all the time and they just don't pay attention to them. But a guy receives one compliment and he remembers it for the rest of his life. And I think that's media production.
It's this creative industry that we
one person says one thing and it's like I'm done. Touched. Right, we've hit the 40-minute mark.
Okay.
Do you want to take a break or?
I could take it. Well, I need a wee. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's take a break. Right. Okay, then we will take a quick break and we'll be straight back. Ramsey, I've got a podcast. Will you come on my podcast? He was like, yeah, I'd love to be. So of that guy. Cool. So we've just come back from a break. We're all happy, we're all fed, we're all watered. The last thing we were talking about was, support for things in Newport, support from, what we see happening. One of the things, before I begin, there is Adam has an announcement that he has to make. He's contractually obligated. So if you want to take it away, Ed.
Oh god, this is a bit I'm really nervous about. I just want to say hello to my girlfriend. Hello. She said if I did mention her, I'll be kicked out of the house. So
Brutal,
You
man.
know, it's just the way a
Brutal.
cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah.
But there you go. Go
Cool.
out of the way.
Yeah.
So hello.
There we go. Fantastic.
But yeah,
That's
big
yeah.
supporter in my life.
That's
It's
yeah.
in a serious note. She's big supporter in my life, and you know, whatever choices I make with with creating stuff and all that, all blessings to her. Give her flowers, as they say.
I love seeing the social content, but from people. I love seeing not only the work that they're doing,
Yeah.
but the things that are going right in their personal lives. And any time I see you posting a picture with your girlfriend,
Mm.
it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It gives me like reassurance that there's good things in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have a lot of it already, but it's nice to see you guys
Yeah.
keep hitting it every time.
I'm the same.
So,
Honestly, when I go on my
Yeah.
feed and you know see people have babies and stuff like that, it's crazy. It's just like a warm feeling, you know. You just get inside, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It is good. We were talking about support for stuff in Newport. We were talking about how people can kind of all they need to do is like someone's post or kind of, you know, avoid trying to get in the way of things. My next question is, does gatekeeping exist in Newport?
Yes.
Okay, so
And
yeah, all right.
without naming names,
Yeah.
but unfortunately it does. And for myself, as I mentioned earlier, I love working with people and
Yeah.
building, you know, a crew together or working on anything really.
Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously, unfortunately, a lot of owners of venues or like shops and stuff like that, you know, it can be quite, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the phrase? It's like just like I don't know. It's
Well, in my opinion, it kind of it prevents growth. Like
yes,
it
yeah.
stops. It prevents people becoming successful.
And you just want everyone to be successful. You know, and
Yeah,
obviously
man.
that's an ideal world, of course. But like
Yeah.
it's certain ways going around it, you know.
Just for a second, I am gonna bring it back a second,
Mhm.
because the question is, does gatekeeping exist in Newport? And you have answered it. You jumped straight in and you were clear and concise. But just to give a little context to listeners and viewers, gatekeeping, because you asked me this just as I briefed you on the last couple of
Yeah.
questions. Gatekeeping is the concept of a person within an industry getting either a little bit of authority or a little bit of fame or a little bit of reputation, and they then use that position to prevent others from benefiting or growing or profiting. I've experienced it in various things that I've been involved in Newport. You know, individuals who will decide that either I'm not good enough or someone else is not good enough, and that they can't be a part of a project, and that project inevitably does fall apart. And
Yep.
so, yeah, as someone who you're a photographer, videographer, DJ, community member, radio, you know, ex radio DJ, you can confirm that you've witnessed instances of individuals preventing other individuals from doing
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah. You know, I don't know whether it could be just obviously it's not just Newport, it's everywhere.
It
And
is everywhere. Yeah, yeah. No, it's not a concept
yeah.
unique to us.
But yeah, I've seen it happen before, unfortunately, and a lot of times I just gotta bite my tongue and you know not do much. Which I shouldn't. In you know, really, I should say something, and because I see it happen all the time, and obviously
Interesting. Okay.
you know, and I've just gotta like.
But would if you spoke up against that, if or about it, if a person spoke up
Unfortunately,
about it,
if I spoke up against it,
would
I'd
you not
lose.
then lose your opportunities there?
Absolutely, and I'd not even that. I'd probably lose my job if I'm working under someone who is gatekeeping. I would
Right.
lose my
Okay.
job because you know it sucks, really sucks.
Interesting.
And but I will say this: it's gotten better over years. It's definitely gotten you know because it used to be real bad. If we're talking 5 years ago, it was way worse then. You
Yeah.
know, and I will say this is definitely gone better over time, and I'm seeing a lot more of a positive outlook on gatekeeping.
Do you think the COVID pandemic was a shocker for a lot of people who, you know, work freelance, work
I think
independently?
that's
Yeah.
kind of like helped in a weird way, like
Yeah. Okay.
because it was like a hard reset button with COVID. It was
Everyone was affected. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and everyone had to work from the beginning. So everyone had to like work together, and you know, and I will say this: it's definitely affected businesses because but it's not profited ever since, and that's including my business and everyone else. I'm definitely not making as much money as I used to.
Mm.
I don't know if it's just people have kind of stepped back from it all completely, but I don't know. What have you experienced with it?
Uh, I'm glad you asked. I paint the illusion that everything is going hunky dory.
Mm,
I don't tell anyone when, like, if things go wrong, I'll let people know. I'm like, oh, it's a bit of a bumpy road. But if the wings are falling off the plane and we're
mm,
getting shot down, I will ignore it completely. I'm
yeah.
like, no, it's not happening. We will always pull
I
through.
think I'm quite like that myself. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
real bad trait to
yeah,
have, but
yeah,
like you gotta like and then because if you're not like it's my opinion, if you're not like that,
yeah.
people will just be negative about it.
Yeah,
And
it's very life gives us challenges no matter what, and so if we give ourselves more challenges, we're just missing out on the fun stuff.
yeah,
So hypothetical scenario: you are the be all and end all of decisions made in the creative industry in Newport. Okay, you are Adam Prosser Supreme. Okay, you decide. You're the decider. Okay, what decisions would you make going forward that would improve the creative economy?
ooh, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
Woo. Um, I'll be right back. No,
Yeah.
so basically, I don't know. It's I think personally, it depends what business you're in. Like for myself, like I want to have a team of just like individuals and just to create something beautiful and
Individuals with experience or without experience?
to be honest, both because I'm
Okay.
happy to teach. Because to be honest, I'm self-taught,
Mm.
so and I've always been. If I can do it, if I'm a big believer, if I can do it, anyone else can do it. And I'm not the. To be honest, I'm not the brainiest person. I'll be honest. I when it comes to like generally, I when it comes to like media stuff, I'm all right. Anything else is out the window. But like so I've always been a big believer. So yeah, I'm happy to like teach and work. But I think in a way we can work again with each other. Whether if it's like if we work with anything really, any sort of business.
So what would you decide then? Adam Prosser Supreme, the decider of economy going forward. What decisions would you make? Would you say that
Uh
people need to be educated more, or should
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah?
People need to educate more, and I think especially young people, because unfortunately they see a lot of stuff online and they see articles and they assume the worst. And I think like especially with like like homeless people and stuff like that, and they'll see stuff like that, and they don't think they can create a change, which they can.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of stuff, and you can put that problem to anything, and you can solve it. It's just having the education, having to see the light of things, and it's again that fine balance between again money and unfortunately, obviously, we're living in a
Cost of living crisis.
cost of living
Yeah, yeah.
crisis to bring it
Still,
up again, but
still.
like we gotta help each other to build, an economy. I don't know. It sucks. It's sad and
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. I'll put you out your misery. No, that's a really really good answer. Yeah. Um, on the topic of education, you've mentioned that you want to get into workshops and courses.
absolutely, yeah. I'd love to
Yep.
teach, young people any sort of things, whether it's to do even this, like if it's podcasting or like just learning to edit, whether you just want to do like a social media sort of manager sort of roles, because obviously there's a lot of that out there now.
Okay.
It's a lot of roles you can learn,
So
but
social media management is important. Okay.
yes, yeah.
I don't see any business doing well in
And if
2024.
you like, if you're listening to this and you're interested to being a creative person, you gotta
Yeah.
start. You gotta start from somewhere, like and it's a lot of jobs require stuff like that. And again, it all depends what you're into. If you're into dead on filming stuff and being a film production, start off small,
Yeah.
work on some short films. You don't have to have the best camera. I tell this about anyone. If you're getting into filming, you could have a really naff camera, but it's the way you use it, right? I always tell this about anyone or any sort of equipment. If you have a bad, I don't know, bad mic, make it like it's like add it to your effect of like a short film. There's so many like
Interesting. Okay.
make
Yeah. Work with what you've got.
work what
Yeah.
you got
Okay.
and just kind of like I don't know, think outside the box. And anyone wants to like learn. Like I said, I've always if like I said, I said before, if I can do it, anyone else can do it.
Anyone watching this podcast, anyone listening to this, if they wanted to get their foot in the door, start learning some things, they could contact you, and you would be prepared to
Absolutely, yeah.
show them the way.
You
Interesting.
can
Okay.
check me out on my Facebook page. It'd be Adam Prosser Photography and Videography. You can find me on Instagram as well. I think it's the same handle, or Adam R Prosser, and you find me on Instagram as well.
Are you
Yeah.
on TikTok?
I am indeed. I'm on. So my DJ his things on TikTok. So if you want to see my my dirty drum and bass mixes, womp womp womp, you can find that as well. As well. But my normal I don't have a normal TikTok.
Yeah. See, I'm still figuring out TikTok myself.
Same. Yeah.
I'm just gonna
I'm
start
not down
posting
with the
there.
kids yet.
Yeah.
But you know.
Maggie Morning. Right. Are
Yeah.
you on X? Are you on what used to be Twitter?
No, I made so many accounts, but I just don't have a.
I love X. Like it's really becoming like the
It's
Wild
weird
West.
calling it X. I'm still not used to it.
I know. I try to
I
put
get
it
it,
where I
but
can,
it's weird.
I personally, I think that's going to be the next platform. Like I know it was Twitter, but the things that they brought into it now, hour long video uploads and spaces and things
Yeah.
like that. I think that's going to be the next
Yeah, especially with like with specials and stuff. If you're big at the podcast and stuff, if they can create like sometimes they'll might even do like a paywall. So if you're an upcoming person and if you're creating a production, and if there's a way they could create like a paywall, I'm sure they'll get a cut off it, but they'll help like Patreon sort of thing.
Patreon, yeah,
But like
okay.
it'll be on X. I don't know. Who knows? It's like I said, I think the future is going to change for a lot of things, especially with like comedy specials, because I watch a lot of comedy specials. Because they were on YouTube now, but now there's like they're thinking outside the box with certain things, where it's like actually a full on production. But people, if you're paying for it and you're watching it, people will do that.
I've
So I
seen,
think, yeah.
I've seen. There was a period a few weeks ago where all I was watching on YouTube was like 15-minute segments
Yeah.
of someone's stand up, and some of it was so funny that I've gone on to follow those comedians
Yeah.
on their social pages, and it's very different from how I would have watched comedy in the past.
Yeah.
Now there's it seems like there's a lot more of a structure
Yeah.
to it. Like
Yeah.
you have to do certain things, and you can't just be funny. You have to.
Yeah, and I like the whole the YouTube thing now with it. You pay like a membership where you pay so much and then you get that exclusiveness and stuff like that. It's really smart. Like if you really love a channel or whatever it is, you can you get all this content and it's uncensored and this that, and the other. It's a lot of working markets right now. It's in the positive. It's not all doom and gloom in the future if you're a
not at
content
all.
creator. So there's workarounds. There's obviously for myself, if I want to do like some master classes, there's ways I can make money or whatever, and this that, and the other. It's so many possibilities.
There's ways, yeah. There's options. Brilliant. Okay, so you've mentioned the future. You've mentioned ideas of things that you kind of want to touch on. What will we see from you in 2024?
For myself, I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing. Again, if you're
still gonna do the wedding photography, still gonna
yeah.
do the DJing,
still gonna do DJing. I'm gonna be cutting back on the DJing sort of stuff, but who knows? Who knows? I'm still so basically, I do DJ like normal events, but I'm a full on drum and bass DJ, which is quite funny because you'll see me at a wedding playing ABBA, and then you'll see me another night full on some dirty stonking beats. And all that. God, that sounds so old. But so like it's weird. So I do my DJ name's Prospekt. So if you do like drum and bass and all that sort of stuff, come follow. But my future, yes, I don't know. Future's looking good right now. Like you said, I would like to do some workshops and stuff like that.
I'm going to be doing workshops in the new year.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking a way in the future. But yeah, if you want to check out his stuff, do it.
No, I will. I completely agree that with what you said about how there needs to be more education in the area. I discussed this idea with someone recently, and they laughed at me. They said, "Well, why would you teach someone the skills that are making you money right now?" And I said, "You don't get it.
Yeah,
you don't get it. If I teach 10 people how to do what I'm doing right now, I get to move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
and so." I don't see it
And not
as
even that. It's not even about the money. It's so fulfilling to teach someone.
yes, yeah,
It's like
100%, yeah,
it's you, and it's not even that. It's like a growth within that
yes.
person. And then you get to see that growth, and see what they'd be able to accomplish.
By teaching a skill to a new person, that new person might teach something new to that skill.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if you the more people you introduce to it, the more different perceptions and
yeah,
experiences and inputs, and the thing might develop itself.
yeah.
So
And younger people now, they'll with certain stuff. I'm sure they'll be teaching us things about like, especially like with TikTok and stuff like that. Like, I'm still learning every day. Even though I've done this for a long ass time,
yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
still
No,
I'm
you have
learning
to.
every
You
single
have to.
day.
You can't get lazy at all. You have
Yeah,
to stay up to date with everything. I would be prepared to teach old people, to be
yeah,
honest, because these are people who are living longer lives,
yeah.
and I find it quite sad when I see an old person and they're detached from now.
Yeah,
They
I
detached
find
from
that with vinyl DJs, and
yeah.
they struggle with like the new tech and the
Interesting.
CDJs. I find the same situation,
I didn't. Can you go
and
into
there's
that a little
what
bit
and
more?
what's quite crazy because I'm the opposite. I see people messing with vinyl, and I can't wrap my head around it because
Interesting.
it's really like I don't know. It's hard. I tried mixing vinyl. I'm okay, but like and then because obviously we got it so lucky now with like tech, but then when they talk about like the modern stuff, they struggle. So it's weird, and like obviously we find that about like with media as well.
If definitely 100%, yeah. If you had the time and a teacher, would you learn how to DJ with vinyl?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
you see a benefit that it would bring to you as a DJ?
Yeah, yeah, and it's not even that. It's to have a skill set in your life.
Interesting.
It's like well, it's like anything. If whether you want to learn to go fishing, who knows?
Yeah.
You've got that option now.
Learn
It's
the
out
old
there.
stuff and the new stuff, and then whatever comes from it will be the newer stuff.
Yeah, and it's like yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a circle of life.
Brilliant. Amazing. Brilliant. Okay. All right. I think I've asked you everything I want to ask you.
It's been a pleasure. This has been a pleasure. Thank you.
No, it's been fun, Ad. I think we've got a really good episode. There is a segment that I want to introduce, right? Okay, so
Oh,
I've been
okay.
thinking about this. Yeah, no, you are the first one, so congratulations. Right. So the podcast is called the MF Podcast.
Okay.
And MF stands for middle finger. Okay. When I created Middle Finger back in 2010, the whole point was as a reaction to attitudes of people at the time.
Yeah.
I was 18, me and my friends were 18, we were just getting into like music and entertainment and everything. And the attitudes from people above us were everything's gonna die, everything nothing matters anymore.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, we've just come into this now. We're gonna, our reaction is the middle finger. We're gonna give the middle finger back to you. So what I want to introduce is if you could give the middle finger to someone, who would you give the middle finger to?
That's a good one.
It doesn't have to be a person. It could be a type of
This
person.
was for you, man. I'm joking.
Cut. That's it. I've got it. Yeah. No,
Disowned.
cut.
No. No. I don't know. That's a good one. There's no one I really hate at the moment. I obviously
You're a polite guy, so I imagine they
like-
wouldn't. Yeah.
like Nigel Farage. He's a bit of a one. Isn't he? Although I did enjoy him in the jungle. I watched that a little bit. It was alright. But
yeah.
I don't know. Was there anyone? Well,
If you could give a middle finger to someone, who would you give it to?
Okay. I give it to my old landlord. This one's for you. Because you in lockdown was a CUNT.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's
He's probably not
brilliant.
watching this, but
That's
that felt really good doing that.
yeah. I'm gonna try that again. Yeah, next time. Yeah. That's
Because
fantastic.
basically, we had no heating for most of the time I was there. And the place was just, he constantly kept making promises and stuff, which he didn't do.
And he just bailed.
And yeah, it was, he just bailed, yeah. And then, well, I think he sold the place after I left, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No,
There you
I'm
go.
glad. I'm glad.
I
I'm glad
like
I
this
brought that
segment.
into it. Yeah.
Keep this going.
Yeah.
Like
Fantastic.
this.
I love that. Well, it's been absolute pleasure to have you on the show, mate. What is the best? If anyone wants to book you for a wedding photography service, wedding photography videography service, what is the best way to get hold of you?
So yeah, it'd be on Facebook, on my social medias, Instagram. So again, just look up Adam Prosser or Adam Prosser. photography and videography, and you should be able to find me. Yeah, obviously based in South Wales. So, and I'm happy to travel a little bit, but if you are in that area or so, I'm happy to come to you.
Cool, fantastic. Okay, well, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
We're going to end the show here. For anyone who wants to support the MF podcast, you can check me out on my Patreon page, which is www.patreon.com/thesonney, where you can find a minimum subscription of $3 a month. And that helps me kind of produce these things. It helps me bring on guests like Adam. And it helps me do things like we've mentioned in the community and to help people and support stuff. So if you can check that out, if you can subscribe to that Patreon, you'd be really, really helping us out. That's it for me. That's it from Adam. Peace.
Peace.